Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conundrum Conversations. Today, we will be speaking with Patricio Varela, a civil and common law trained lawyer with vast experience in international arbitration. Patricio specializes in disputes in the energy, construction, hydrocarbons, and infrastructure sectors, and he holds a double master's degrees in environmental law and policy from Stanford and sports law from the University of Miami. Patricia has worked with top-tier law firms in both Chile and United States, and he has served as an international in-house lawyer for a major league rugby franchise. So we are very honored to have you here with us, and we're very excited to learn from your experiences. So welcome, Patricia.
Thank you very much, Dua, for your introduction, and I'm happy to be here and be as useful as possible for your podcast and have a nice conversation.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's get started. Can you tell us what inspired you to pursue a career in law, specifically in international arbitration?
To be honest, I don't think that from the very beginning I had like attorney mindset, or that I always knew that I wanted to become an attorney. It was more at some point I had to decide what I wanted to do with in my future, and it was a combination about things that I was good at, some skill that I was good at, like I don't know, like writing, reading, and also having personal interaction and everything, and also a career that I saw myself doing for the rest of my life. And back then, I felt and I thought that law would be a good fit or a good combination for both things, like my skills and what I saw myself doing, and that's how I started. And then how I ended up working on international arbitration world. That's again like maybe a sort of like a combination of a situations. I mean, again, it wasn't that I was always focused and I always knew that I wanted to do an international career or international arbitration career. But at some point there were some positions that they were open, and when I started studying, I realized that disputes, generally talking, were very interesting to me, and I enjoyed working at it on it. And then when I saw this position, I applied, and then like things started to happen, and I ended up having like this path, but it was more like, well, because I was doing something, and also I was paying attention to what was happening around me, so I was able to maybe take one of those opportunities, and then start building something on top of it. But from the very beginning, of course, I wasn't aware what I really wanted the most, or like what type of law I would be like most skilled, or like the best one, or close to that. So I think it was a combination of like being aware of what was happening around, learning more and more about the discipline, started to like really understand it and like it and enjoying it. And then once, I think there is some point when you're ready.
That's a very interesting take, and that was very motivating to know, because there is a general misconception that you have to have that, as you mentioned, attorney mindset from the get-go to be in this career. But you told us how we can by time realize our passion for this field, so that's very interesting. And could you tell us what skills do you believe are crucial for success in international arbitration, and how do you think high schoolers or pre-law students can work to achieve these skills early on?
I mean, it is hard to like write a list of things that might be useful, but I think generally talking is, of course, or first and foremost, is like be responsible, accountable, and be like a hard worker, and be aware that sometimes job will be hard. Sometimes it will take more than the time that you really want to. That, and from high schoolers, like just try to. I mean, it's an age that you also need to enjoy and be happy because later on things will be more stressful and complicated. So, like I would say, those years are amazing. So you always need to be aware of like trying to enjoy those years and be happy and everything. Then life will put you in another situation when you need to be more stressful and everything. But I thought it's important to be always checking in and always like looking around and trying to asking themselves, like yourselves in this case, like what I would like to do and where do I see myself in the future, the the stage of your life where you are now.
Wow, that was brilliant advice, and I know that so many people would need to hear this. So thank you so much for that. And now coming towards one of your greatest accomplishments, which were getting a dual masters in environmental law and policy and sports law from Stanford and University of Miami respectively. Could you tell us how having a dual master's degree helped you in your career? And could you also tell us some of the challenges that you faced while getting these degrees?
Sure. Well, master degrees are a huge opportunity if you're a foreign attorney in this case, because first, like you get some like first-hand sample and sense on how things work here in the States, and also all the networking and everything, like the friends that you make from all over the world. So then you can learn from them, of course, like different cultures, different like approaches and everything. Uh, it's very, very enriching. Also, the substantive matters that you learn, different classes and topics that you cover, and everything. It is great, and it's a very formative experience, and also not only from a professional or academic standpoint, but also like from a personal standpoint, because you need to force yourself to be alone in a different country. It's not your native tongue, it's not your native culture, it's not nothing. You just need to try to make it work, and then you create your own family, which are your friends, everything. Of course, the first LLM was harder in terms of like was my first experience living abroad, and like my management of like the English that I spoke back then was totally different. So I had different challenges there. The challenges that I had in my second master, was more because I was transitioning into like what I wanted to like make the rest of my life. So it was very emotionally challenging because I was kind of breaking my path from what I was doing for like around 10 years. So I was making this transition. It was very emotionally engaging and more draining and everything. Of course, having masters will help you a lot because you will connect with people and you will like grow a lot professionally, personally, and academically. So it's a huge experience. I think it's a like life changer experience.
Well, I think that's the important part, that in the end you persevere through those challenges, which then makes you an example for many young law students and just students in general who are studying abroad. Also, you
And
mentioned.
also to mention in that, sorry, just to see like unfortunately life is hard. So if you really want to reach something, you need to endure. You need to I was talking with my cousin actually yesterday because we're here together now. The day that you don't want to study and you study, that's the day that makes a difference. That's the day when you don't want to work and you work, that day is the difference because like many people quit. Don't work that day, don't study that day. But if you really want something, you need to understand that it will be hard and you need to make a lot of sacrifice. Sometimes those sacrifices, I don't know, are not attending parties or like missing some important dates or whatever. Of course, you don't want to have life only of that, just missing all those things. I didn't want to. That's why also I was transitioning some things. So I made some tweaks in my life. But if there is something that I also would kind of give as an advice, if you will, is like if you want something, if your dreams are big, you need to work hard. So nothing will be for granted. Nothing like big dreams like imply hard work. So and that also implies a lot of resilience and be able to continue pushing even though you're tired, even though even though you're frustrated for whatever reason. If your dream is bigger, keep pushing. Like, of course, take care of your mind, take care of your mindfulness, take care of being healthy because you need to be healthy in order to continue pushing. Some people might have more natural tools to deal with some moments without maybe more external support. Other people might need more external support, but you always need to be, again, checking in with yourself, not only like with the things that are happening around, but it won't be easy. If you want to do something big, it will imply big work. So just to mention that.
Indeed, that is very true. So, all right, moving on to our next question. As we mentioned before about your dual master's degree, and it then creates this very diverse career and these diverse options for you, right? So could you tell us, how do you stay updated with all of these fields? How do you manage to stay up to date with the new legal trends in all of these different fields?
I mean, of course, like when you're working in different fields, you need to be updated, and you need to be on top of it. But usually, when while you're working, you're getting like you happen to hear about like new trends and everything. And also, there are several specific websites or magazines or whatever that there are the ones always updating the field with I don't know, like best professors or more knowledgeable professors writing about it, or like summarizing different cases that are like hours that are like, I don't know, like released all over the world and things like that. So once you realize which is your field, then you have nowadays like countless number of tools for you to be updated, like websites, as I said. Like, so you need to just like maybe register yourself or enroll yourself in those magazines, website, whatever, and you can do it. And then of course there are some things that we are more passionate about than others. So usually those are the ones that you read about or you learn about more naturally because you enjoy it more than other fields. Because of course, even though you're working in international field, there might be some topics that you really don't like. That's normal and that's not bad. Like I sometimes you have some cases or portion of some cases or some little areas that is okay. I really don't enjoy that much this type of law or this type of cases or whatever. But again, you need to do it, and that's the difference. So, and you need to do it as good as the other areas that you really like or enjoy most. So I would say yes. Like now there are countless number of tools. So you will follow those that you need because even though you don't like them, you have to, or and then you also will be reviewing those that naturally you like the most. But yes, like now it's many websites and so I would say combination of everything.
Perfect. And also, could you tell us how can students explore or navigate through different areas of the legal field?
Students, like, you mean like high school students or university college students?
Yes. University or college, you could include both of them, but like mostly university.
I think something that works very well here in the state, at least maybe in my country in Chile, it doesn't work like that. Are the internships. I think those are very, very important, and it's a great experience for you to jump into a different area of law, and you can that kind of have like a hands-on experience, and you will be like exposed to that field of law, so you will have a way better idea of how does it work or what does it take for you to work there, which is the type of work that people do, attorneys do there, and everything. So that I would encourage people to try to like take as much advantage as they can from all those like internship opportunities and everything. Also, like with the professors, I mean, you will be exposed to, again, you will have to take different classes and you need to cover different topics that also will give you a good sample or sense of what does it mean or what type of like cases or like type of law do they do and everything. So I would say that you need to be also, nowadays there are a lot of congresses and things like that. So if you attend those, just like maybe to hear like to very like important or renowned professor people talking about some topics, and you might have again like a good idea of what does it mean or and everything. So as everything, at least, or how I have conducted my academic and professional career is always being active. If you're just waiting for things to happen or for the opportunities to knock your door, that won't happen usually. Or maybe you might be very lucky once or like twice, but usually you need to be moving around, and you need to be like with your eyes very open, like looking what's happening around, and trying you to put things in motion to for your benefit or for to achieve your goals. So if you do internships, if you attend congress, if you network and those type of things, like those are the things that in the future might have a huge impact, because you met the right person, or because like you listened to the right person and opened your eyes about a specific field of law you were not aware about, and things like that. So I would say that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And lastly, since we're on the topic of diversity, since one of our aims is to compare different legal systems around the globe, and you've been a practicing legal professional in both Chile and United States, what are some key differences and similarities that you've observed in these legal systems?
Oh, it is hard because there are many differences, so it's hard to try to summarize just a few of them. But yes, just the fact that we work with codes. So maybe in Chile, sorry, civil law system. So you have your codes, and of course, like jurisprudence and case law and everything is relevant for you to have like an idea of how law is being like construed and everything, but it's not really binding. So you just need to focus. I don't want to simplify the process, but just I wanted to contrast two things. But you need to focus more like in the codes, and usually you can create something out of there, or you need to be aware of the last trends and jurisprudence and everything, because things get updated. Here it's very different because the case law, and even more because here in the States particularly, you have so many jurisdictions, so many states, so many I don't know, like stages that a case can be decided. So when you want to review something or try to build your case, you need to be very aware of like of whether the case that you're really taking is the good law or not, or was already revoked or whatever, and if the jurisdiction that you're using, or the court that you are like the court that you're analyzing is really binding or not for the case that you want to build in your jurisdiction and everything. So it's way more complex. They're very well developed the websites here in the States, Westlaw and everything, and that they kind of do that job for you, because they have some colors and some codes that you can like do your legal research and to try to come up with the right cases to support yours. But it's a different approach, so the skill that you need to use are different, and also something that's very different, I would say, how do you write in Chile and in the States is a totally different system. Here in the States, I would say everything is more like a, again, without simplifying the hard nature of this, but it's more like structure. There are some sort of formulas that you need to follow, either IRAC or whatever other ones that you will, if you start, like if you learn those things and then you see like an actual decision or whatever, you will realize how the judges sometimes and everybody is like following those rules. So to adopt those rules and try to be fluent and try to like just adjust yourself to this new kind of a system or like forms, it's also challenging. At least to me, it was very challenging, and it took me time, and of course I'm continuing improving. It's not something that I already mastered. It takes time, and you always can improve. Same in Spanish. If you're writing in Spanish, like how I write now, will be totally different how I wrote like 5 years or 10 years ago. So that's a like something that I was always growing. I hope for the better. But yes, it's different, and you need to pay attention to different things. Like there's a common like, core, of course, topics which are, for instance, I don't know, like the fact that you need to be always say the truth. You always have to tell the truth. You need to support everything you say and everything. That's his regardless of which type of system. But there are like yes, different nuances. It's hard to summarize all of them, but it's nice to be able to like working with both mindsets or both legal mindset, because it takes time.
Well, thank you so much for that. You summarized it perfectly, and it's very interesting to know this as well. And also, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us, your journey and expertise, and all of the motivating things that you've said. I am sure that it would help out many people, and I was able to learn from it a lot. So, thank you so much for that. And to our audience, thank you so much for being here. Tune in for more insightful conversations. Until next time.